I think it was 2012 Father. There's a Father's Ascension 2013. There was a big big ceremony, the church ceremony. I believe it was a God's Day around that time, 2013 God's Day. And then we were in America. We went to Korea to celebrate it. And then she talked to Hyung Jin Nim about, I'm gonna change God's name into Heavenly Parent too. So we are like, Hyung Jin was like, Mother, you cannot do that. You cannot change God's name into something else. Otherwise, we are not serving same God. The biblical God is only one. Yes, there's a female aspect and the male aspect in God, within God. But just like even though you have a masculine aspect in you, but you are female. Right. And then what Father taught us was very clear. God is a subject, and He is 남성격 주체. I don't know how to say this in English. Can you let me? There's the divine principle term there. God is not male. I think there's a masculine subject position.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. It's called 남성격 주체 in Korean, but I don't know in English. Anyway, so Father clearly taught us, and we cannot just change it like that. And Hyung Jin Nim, gave her explanation saying that we call Father not because he's some kind of a male misogynist and then want to put down all the women. No, we call Father because he's a subject in front of all humanity. We are all object and he's subject. That's why we call Father. But Mother was very strong about it, and then she actually already kind of said it to leaders. So some leaders were actually in their prayer, they were actually praying in Heavenly Parent's name. So Hyung Jin said, this is not absolutely, no, you can't do this. And after that, there was a big ceremony in front of many members in the basement of, is it first floor or basement? I think it's a basement of a Cheongpyeong Palace. And then Mother, all of a sudden, she just, Hyung Jin, now the continental leader is Kim Gi-hoon. Hyung Jin was continental leader, but I don't think she mentioned that Hyung Jin is fired, but she said a new person is a continental leader, and everybody was clapping. And then we were like so shocked. And
that's when you learned?
Yeah, that's when we learned. And I'm like, oh, okay, Father, have you ever talked to Mother about this? Honey, have you ever talked about this? And then he was totally stunned too, because after that we went up, and then she said, now your mission is over in America, and that's when she let us know about it. So that's why there was Hyung Jin knew that's at that time when we went to America, and then the atmosphere was very low, so he never did the inauguration ceremony. But that's why the way he was laid off, fired, was so bizarre that there was no stepping down ceremony either. So, but we served basically 3 months. Mother promised us 3 years, but after that it was just we were laid off.
So then, after that, what did you and he decide to do?
We came back to America, and Hyung Jin Nim wanted to since there's no stepping down ceremony, Hyung Jin Nim wanted to at least say farewell to members, because he promised 3 years. When we did a 7 years tour, Mother promised for 3 years. So let's make this church that true parents can be proud of. And he was going around to say this, and then we were just all of a sudden just disappearing out of thin air. then it's gonna be very bizarre to our members. So what we Hyung Jin decided to do is I think it was a 3-paragraph or something like that. He wrote it, and then he said, I'm gonna keep on teaching about absolute sex, and I'm gonna keep on, I was a little bit surprised by this sudden laid off, but he kept a high beat. He kept a positive attitude. But the way mother received was she was so angry at this letter. She was so angry at this letter. She asked all the leaders. It was like 40 leaders, 40 major Korean leaders. She gathered them, and then we heard from somebody. Actually, one of the major leader came to our house to persuade Hyung Jin Nim that to repent in front of mother, because she was so upset at this letter, and she cried in front of these 40 leaders, Korean leaders, that how unfilial piety he is doing this to her. So Hyung Jin Nim was like, I just wrote a resignation letter, and then there's nothing that you can be so upset about this. But she was basically strongly demanding for apology. So, and you have to come within 3 weeks and give apology me. Then I don't know what she threatened. I don't know what she said to him. She didn't tell him directly. She sent the ambassador, so to speak, one leader, and then to convey what mother said. So basically, you have to, within three weeks, you have to come, and you have to repent and all that. So after that, Hyung Jin Nim, Hyung Jin Nim is a good man, and he really loves mother. He really loves mother. And then I also really persuade him, let's go to Korea, and it's not good to really make mother angry and all that. So Hyung Jin did go to mother, and then did go to mother. But it's when I look back, I was such a coward. I'm just when I look back, I'm very shameful for what I did. But Hyung Jin Nim, when I almost like, honey, don't say anything to mother, because I know his opinion, what he's gonna say. Don't say anything. Just you just show your face, and then I came. If I feel any of your hate feeling, I'm sorry, and we just come out, and that's all we need to do, okay? But Hyung Jin Nim, of course, Hyung Jin Nim did not do that. But I want to really, we want to say this. Hyung Jin Nim was so respectful to mother. He actually kneeled down in front of mother, and he hugged her while he's talking about this. He told mother that, mother, you cannot change Cheonseonggyeong. You cannot change name of God, mother. I love you, but you cannot do this. If you do this, the church will divide, mother. I'm so sorry to say this to you. If you come to, America, and then if you want to meet me, I want to buy you McDonald's, and what you want me to buy for you. But you know what? I cannot do something that I believe that is not right. I cannot do something that I go against what I promised Father. I cannot do it. And then his pastor was very humble. He was pastor very humble. The sister in the back, daughter-in-law is a father, and then the couple staff, the sister staff, and then they also cried too. And then they thanking Hyung Jin Nim for what he did, because mother was so upset about this, and she made it such a big thing, and because she called all the leaders. But Hyung Jin really embraced her, and he was in America. He went to Korea, and then he really tried to embrace mother, and then went back. But after that, she made a series of changes. series of changes, continuously changing the family pledge and changing the national anthem, changing and all the list of things that Hyung Jin Nim talks about in the sermon. And then, and then he decided to break the silence. In 2013, he also went to see Mother. On Father's Ascension, around that time, he went to see Mother, and then he said the same thing to Mother too again. I was so afraid of Mother's wrath. I couldn't say anything. I was totally froze. I was just looking at the floor. But Hyung Jin Nim said, Mother, you cannot do this. You cannot change Father's words. He said that repeatedly, same thing again. And then I can't remember when it was, but he met Mother again in the Las Vegas, one-on-one, and he met Mother again. He said same thing again to Mother. You cannot do this. If you do this, you will split the church, and then the Father will not be happy. But she was very sure. She was so sure that Father is happy about what she's doing. And her spirit is so pure, and she mentioned that Umo told her that her spirit is so pure, and then Father's rejoicing in the spirit world, and after and couple of times Hyung Jin also called Mother for Mother's Day, and he sent flower for her birthday. Things like that, but we met her in Las Vegas. In the middle of a conversation, she just walked out. Yeah, and then when we called to the Mother's Day, and Hyung Jin Nim says, Hyung Jin Nim actually said, "I love you, Mother," but she said, "I'm in the meeting. I have to go," and she said, "I can't answer your phone call." And she just stopped. I'm busy, and she walked out. And then when we went to Cheongpyeong last year, 2014, around the Father's Ascension time, and Mother refused to see him. She said she has a meeting. Unless you attend the Father's Ascension ceremony, show up your face, I'm not going to meet you. So we couldn't meet him. We couldn't meet her because at that time what they did in the Father's Ascension ceremony, they wanted to put out the Cheonilguk constitution that they made, Cheongpyeong made. So Hyung Jin said, I cannot, if I be there, that means I'm agreeing with the law that goes against the Father's will, that I'm agreeing with that law. So I cannot participate in that. So